What do you think it'll take to get the paparazzi to leave you alone?
I don't know. I don't know.
Is that one of your biggest wishes?
Yeah. It's okay. I would like for them to leave me alone.
Gotten shots, like, please, guys. Yo, guys, please, guys, don't do this.
Her song is called Give Me More for a reason, because all you people want is more, 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 more! Leave her alone!
I don't even have to go through the whole video. Let's just start with who is this 12-year-old? That in itself is scary. But then let's just get into one minimal clip. Tell me what you think. Next we have Lizard Knee. What is this? What has happened? Her tongue is splitting in half and she has no bottom teeth.
Okay. Welcome to the Spake Up podcast. It's a big day here because today marks the 10th episode of the Spake Up podcast. I know, listen, there's a lot of people out there that are on like episode 400, so it's not a lot, but you got to start somewhere. And this has been just a great start to the podcast. We're in double digits. We've officially hit 1,000 followers on Instagram. And by the time that this drops on Thursday, we'll probably have 1,000 followers on TikTok as well. So thank you guys so much for following along and hitting subscribe and all that stuff. Continue to do that because that is how we're going to continue to book guests and get the great guests like we've been able to do, including today. So I did start this podcast in June, and the purpose of the podcast, as I've mentioned many, many times, is to have conversations with people who I find interesting and people who I find inspiring. We've had everyone from Alan Bestwick, who covers NASCAR and Indy 500, to a Savannah Banana. But it's not just about sports and it's not just about television. I really want to cover a lot of things. Listen, I know that if I focused on one topic and streamlined it just a little bit, the numbers might go higher. I definitely want that. But I also want to stay true to myself and true to the reason why I started this. So that means for now, this podcast is going to cover a little bit of everything from topics and people. And today, this is going to be one of them. But from day one, I'll tell you, from day one, when I started this podcast back in June, I wanted Jessica Seitz to be on this podcast. I was like, I cannot wait to have a conversation with her. So her podcast and her social accounts are Decoding Celebrities. And I find the way that she presents her information, the information about decoding social media, the Instagram accounts and the TikTok accounts and those things of celebrities, so very fascinating. Let me give you a little background. So I absolutely love pop culture. If you can't tell by my background here, my favorite part of pop culture is the 1990s. I feel like it was so diverse. I grew up personally on a heavy dose of hip hop. Yes, Biggie, 2 Live Crew, which is why I'm offended by nothing, by the way, Generation X, Zs, whomever we're dealing with today. But I also listened to progressive music as well. My high school, Piper High School, actually had a radio station, WKPX. We played Marilyn Manson. We played Temple of the Dog. We played Nirvana, everything. Some of those for the very first time. But I also loved pop music. One of the reasons I wanted to get a job at 1515 Broadway when I moved to New York City in 2000 was because that is where TRL was filmed, was put out live. There'd be thousands of kids in the streets of Times Square screaming up to some of the biggest pop stars in the world. And that is where I wanted to be. I loved pop music, and I loved everyone. 98 Degrees, Backstreet Boys, NSYNC, but the top of the list was definitely Miss Britney. So I remember I still, to this day, remember the very first time I saw the Hit Me Baby One More Time video. I remember exactly where I was. I remember seeing it, and I remember thinking, oh my God, who is this girl doing the things that she's doing, dancing, looking like this? I was absolutely in love with her. Back then, we didn't have Instagram to follow her. We had to watch her on MTV. They had things like Making the Video, which I watched every single one. TRL, as I just mentioned, Total Request Live, for those of you who do not remember that show or do not remember what a time when MTV actually had videos. I watched it all. And when I first moved to New York, as I mentioned, getting a job at 1515 Broadway, which I did, I was working for Nickelodeon, which was in the same building. I had the opportunity for the 2000 MTV Music Awards. I had an opportunity to be, I guess, a volunteer. So we stuffed bags, we took tickets, which, by the way, I got to take NSYNC's tickets. Yeah, so weird they had to have tickets, right? I got to take their tickets as they walked in, but I also got to sit in the audience for the performance. We were all the way, the runners were all the way up at top. But another kid and I, we were like, hey, let's go sneak down to the bottom, which we did. And we were super close to the stage. And if you remember the 2000 VMAs, NSYNC performed. Eminem had all of those guys walk through Radio City Music Hall that looked like him, singing the Slim Shady. Christina Aguilera performed, Cisco, and Miss Britney Spears. Okay. So I was so close to her when she came out and she started singing, I Can't Get No Satisfaction. In fact, I could see that she was having this little wardrobe malfunction from my seat. And I knew something was going to happen. I did not know it was going to be this. When she did this, the entire place went insane. I know she got a lot of shit for this, but I think she looked amazing. She did her thing. She was everything right here. Unfortunately for Britney, there were so many, oh my God, she's just so beautiful. I don't know how you don't think she's beautiful. I don't know how people gave her hell for this. She just looks fantastic. But unfortunately for Britney Spears, over the years, she had so many highs and she's had a ton of lows, from the breakup with Justin that was so disgustingly publicly put out there. The questions about her personal life, which today would never fly. People would never be able to ask her the questions that she got asked back in the day. The Matt Lauer interview, for an example, her marriage, divorce, her kids, the mental decline, and of course the conservatorship, which has been most recently. I mean, Britney has stayed in the public eye forever. And now she posts these social media posts that, listen, 41.8 million people follow her on Instagram and another 8.6 on TikTok. So everybody, I'm sure that you know what I'm talking about. It's hard not to know what I'm talking about. Many people see the posts. And nurse Jessica Seitz, she breaks down those Britney posts.
Welcome to the show where dreams take flight.